It was a baffling team selection, in my opinion. I always look at it as if it's the last game of pre-season, last game coming up to the tournament. I feel you should play your strongest, or almost your strongest team. You know, you've got the Champions League players that have come back, potentially going to miss it. But 45 minutes together, get a real feel. Bit of a snore fest, to be honest. Yeah. The game, it wasn't the greatest. I'm gonna have to disagree with the commentators. I felt Grealish was our best player. I think he's been probably our best player the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Was involved in the goal. Dubious, I know. Set up the goal against Austria. I think he has to start. We'll be doing our teams later. For me, he has to start. I think he's a fantastic player and he will be the star of the show.
You think so, yeah? You rate him that highly?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, listen, I think I'm with you in terms of I don't get the team selection in the last game and this game. I think when you get into a major competition, I always feel like you need to play pretty much your starting 11. I know some of them might be injured, but I think so we get a kind of an idea of what he wants to do going into that game. But when you look at some of the players that didn't even feature in any of the games, people like Phil Foden, like he was a shoe on to start for me. Now, does he go into the Euros first game without playing any games? I'm not sure.
Football is all about momentum.
Yeah.
You know, and going into a major tournament, you need to build up momentum. So in these 2 games, it would be normal that maybe in the first game you rest some players, you give the fringe players the opportunity to impress. But in that last game, historically, you would pick the team largely that you expect to start the tournament. You know, I did Scotland. I'd imagine that at least 10, if not all 11, of the players that Steve Clarke picked today against the Minnows of Luxembourg will start their first game against the Czech Republic a week tomorrow. I've got the Belgium team here. Courtois, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Castagna, Tielemans, Mertens, Lukaku, Carrasco. They'll all start Belgium's first game. Croatia picked Luka Modric as captain. Perisic has played. I don't understand. Form and momentum, you can't turn it on and off like a tap.
No.
England needed a positive performance. They needed their big players, a lot of whom have been out of sorts towards the end of the domestic season, to turn it on today. They didn't even get the opportunity. Declan Rice comes on for the last 25 minutes. I know they're trying to nurse him back, but he needs minutes. Trippier only gets the last 15 minutes at the end of the game. And you look at that starting 11. How many of that 11 will start? Johnston won't. Godfrey won't. White isn't even in the squad, or might be, now that Trent Alexander-Arnold is injured. Ward-Prowse is not in the squad. Rashford won't start. Calvert-Lewin won't start. I mean, you said it, Darren. They'll probably go back now to St George's Park and play a friendly amongst themselves, 11 starters against the rest. That won't cut it for me.
It doesn't work.
And they just look undercooked, England. I mean, you've asked me to pick my team. I'll do that later. Yeah, I think my team's dreadful. I wouldn't want to be Gareth Southgate.
I can't wait till you say your team and you get absolutely hammered for it.
But it's difficult. This is a problem. As I said, go back to Scotland. Steve Clarke knows his team. I don't know if Gareth Southgate does know his team. And your team's going to be different to mine. Darren Ambrose, Darren Bents will be different. Yep. Sam Matterface is listening, coming back from the game.
How's he getting home, by the way?
Yeah, he's got. He said, I'm listening in the car, make it entertaining. I said, who with? He said, the driver. The driver.
No.
Look at this. Number 1 commentator for ITV. Getting all the perks, isn't he?
Too big time to drive himself. I had to get the tube to Wembley today.
And so you should. You should be on the tube, you.
But his team will be different, and he's quite close to the
driver's team will be different.
Well, maybe we should ask him. Sam, you send in your team and the drivers. But it's a problem. You need to know 9 of your best 11.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And I don't think he does.
Well, it does. I mean, we watched the game, and just quickly, I mean, was there anyone today you say that kind of staked their claim to start, or do you think it was only Jack Grealish and that he's the only one?
I thought James Ward-Prowse played very well. I really did. I think he's obviously not in the squad. We don't know whether he'll be the player picked. I think he played well. Jadon Sancho played well. He looked sharp.
Yeah, he'd be in my starting 11.
And listen, Sam Johnson made a fantastic save to keep it 1-0. I mean, otherwise it would have been a little bit embarrassing to draw 1-1. So he played well, although I think Pickford's going to be the main man. But other than that, probably not. No.
Wow. Okay, so I mean, as I said, you look at the team, and what about Tyrone Mings? Because I think a lot of people have kind of said that if it goes to a 2, he looks like he's the one he's in front in terms of taking that second back slot alongside John Stones. Crookie, what do you think?
With the greatest respect in the world, I wouldn't want to go into a tournament with Tyrone Mings as part of a 2 at the back.
What, too many mistakes?
Too many mistakes for me.
Bit
still to prove it
at the top level. Against Austria.
Yeah, he should have been sent off in that game. I think you can get away with him in a 3.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, and we said this last week when I was down in Wales with Dean Saunders, you can't really pick a 2 without Harry Maguire. I think he'll have to pick a 3. And again, I've actually picked 2 fullbacks in my 3.
Well, there you have.